Good morning, got data video for the week beginning the 18th of September 2023. As you probably are aware by looking at price action, look at your technical charts, is that the euro is falling quite heavily and pretty sentimentally, fundamentally and technically quite bearish on the euro. So be careful, the banks are selling it. We've had a big decline on positions over time, as you can see. So we went from 136,000 to 113,000 in the space of a week. So the banks and institutions and the non-coms, they are selling the euro. They're quite steady on the dollar. So I think, well, what will happen inevitably, we'll get the crossover, and then it'll be EU, the Euro USD sell. So if you think it's bearish now, there's probably a little bit more pain to come. So it's just a really quick one to say about your risk management. Know where your exit is, okay? Because a lot of retail traders will have no stops, which is like bonkers, or they've got really wide stops, which are they're quite happy to move, but it could just be a very painful trade. It could be like a pain trade on the euro if you're long. So just be really careful. I put some stuff out in Discord on Friday. There's a potential scenario that level might hold, but just be aware that the non-coms, they're short in the euro and they're quite steady in the dollar. If we do get the crossover, it's going to mean that we're going to get the Euro USD sell. All right, so there's potentially could be quite a painful trade for longs, and it's probably worth mentioning the 52-week low. It's miles and miles away, which is possible we could get back to that low. Alright, so be careful. Yen we'll look at quickly, and we'll find that it's actually it's still supported. We're quite negative, but we've got these supports. If we break these, then obviously that's going to be like a big deal. But the sideways, chop in sideways on the yen. Okay, let's look at the pound, on Aussie. Sorry, Aussie it decreased, but we sort of almost like we bucked the trend a little bit. We were falling, and we just slightly, ever so slightly, sort of bucked that trend. 83 to 79, so there's a slight increase of positions there, but we are negative, as you can see. Now the pound's of note because we were looking at it last week, and oops, no, not Brazilian. No, we don't want to look at that. I thought that looked a bit strange. So we're making a channel, weren't we? If you remember, looks like we might continue within this down channel. So it potentially could be a little bit weak on the pound, and then next week then we might see a reaction. But can you see how we made a lower high and a lower low? Just so that's 47.46. So we did make a lower low. So we're going to make a down channel here, okay? So that's the pound. We are positive, but possibly a little bit bearish what's going on here if we're making a down channel. And then it'll probably be like a flag, and then depending on data or risk on, risk off flows, then it can be a bullish flag. Okay, so you have to be careful. But it all harks back to risk management. If you've got good risk management, you'll be fine. But if you've got terrible risk management, you'll lose money. You could have the best system in the world, but you inevitably lose money because your risk management is poor. You know, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. It's the absolute key. It's the bread and butter for trading. CAD really fell, and we would have had the signal on the dollar CAD, but we invalidated. You see, and we declined quite heavily. And if you wanted to look at more information, then you've got this document for your computer. You can just simply go to Discord, click the download link, and then you've got that file to play around with. You've got lots of things, got lots of settings. You've got dates as well you can do, and all sorts of things. You don't have to look at the net non-coms. You can look at the commercials. You can look at the hedge funds, and you've got a delta page as well, which is cool. That tells us the difference from last week. Very powerful, but you'll need to subscribe at patreon.com/QuasiDB. That's the key. So if you wanted to look at this more information or more data over time, because we can go back years and years and years, you can. but we just stick it to this this time frame. So there's the Canadian dollar. Gold, we are going to be supported there, but we are slightly more negative than we were the week prior. See, 138 to 123, so it's quite a decent decline on gold positions there. But you know, this was like the break of the down channel, up we come, and now we're just chopping sideways, aren't we? Really, we've got that support. So perhaps unless we break that support, we might just be sideways a little bit. Gold off. And then Kiwi, it was moving and it has continued to move, which is good because we were just going sideways for so long. Yeah, for weeks and weeks and weeks, we just kind of just went sideways. It was looking like it's going up, but nope. And then they've sold it, and we were going to get the New Zealand dollar, US dollar set up for a crossover. No, and we nearly got it again. No. So basically telling us the banks aren't that interested in the New Zealand dollar against USD. They're preferring to hold USDs over the New Zealand dollar. Okay, that kind of confirms what they want and how they're positioned. They're preferring the US dollar over the New Zealand dollar, which I guess kind of makes sense. It's a good safe haven, isn't it? Swiss franc, and we're going to be sideways and chop. And we are. So that's just it really. So quick video there just to say, if you wanted to get the file, you have to be a Patreon subscriber, but it'll be Bulletin tier and above. Okay, and I think it's a very, very good deal personally. The file is absolutely amazing, and you can look at all sorts of things as well, and not just the non-coms, but like I say, the commercials, which is like the small time traders, and then you've got your hedge funds as well, which is really, really powerful. And that's it. So I'll wrap up now. Don't forget I'm away tomorrow, but I'll be back properly Tuesday. And we've got a whole slew of risk events this week because we've got central bank interest rate hike decisions. So we've got a very busy calendar this week. So I'll see you guys properly Tuesday. Remember to trade safely.